ये जय साहब को आने के बाद ही लाइव करिएगा।
भारत दुनिया का दूसरा सबसे बड़ा मत्स्य उत्पादक देश है। यह विश्व स्तर पर मत्स्य उत्पादन में 8% का योगदान देता है। मात्स्यिकी क्षेत्र में असीम संभावनाओं को देखते हुए इस सेक्टर से जुड़ी पूरी वैल्यू चेन को मजबूत बनाने के लिए केंद्र सरकार ने साल 2020 में PMMSY यानी प्रधानमंत्री मत्स्य संपदा योजना की शुरुआत की थी। इस कड़ी में फरवरी 2024 में PMMSY के अंतर्गत विस्तृत लक्ष्य और व्यापक उद्देश्य के साथ PMMKCSSY यानी प्रधानमंत्री मत्स्य किसान समृद्धि सह योजना को अनुमोदन प्राप्त हुआ, जो कि मार्च 2027 तक सभी राज्यों और केंद्र शासित प्रदेशों में कार्यान्वित की जा रही है। PMMKSSY के अंतर्गत सभी मछुआरों, मत्स्य पालक किसानों, विक्रेताओं, प्रोसेसर्स, मात्स्यिकी क्षेत्र से जुड़े सभी स्टेक होल्डर्स को संगठित और सुव्यवस्थित बनाने की पहल की जा रही है। इस सह योजना के लिए 6000 करोड़ रुपए के अनुमानित निवेश की परिकल्पना की गई है। PMMKSSY के माध्यम से इन्हें बेहतर सेवाएं देने के लिए नेशनल फिशरीज डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म NFDP पोर्टल डेवलप किया गया है। इस पोर्टल पर मछुआरों, मत्स्य पालकों, विक्रेताओं, प्रोसेसरों और मत्स्य पालन क्षेत्र से जुड़े अन्य उद्यमियों को उनके कार्य के आधार पर पहचान करके एक डाटाबेस तैयार किया जा रहा है। NFDP द्वारा मत्स्य पालन क्षेत्र में सक्रिय सूक्ष्म और लघु उद्यमों को मिलने वाली सरकारी आर्थिक सहायता और PMMKSSY के अन्य लाभार्थियों को प्रोत्साहन राशि मिलने की प्रक्रिया को भी सुगम बनाया जा रहा है। NFDP एकल प्लेटफॉर्म है जिसके माध्यम से PMMKSSY की सभी गतिविधियों, पंजीकरण, लोन व बीमा आवेदन एवं अनुमोदन तथा अन्य वित्तीय प्रोत्साहनों के वितरण आदि की प्रक्रियाएं आसानी से पूरी की जाएंगी। मात्स्यिकी क्षेत्र की गतिविधियों के लिए आसानी से लोन प्राप्ति हेतु NFDP पोर्टल पर आवेदन किया जा सकता है। लोन के सफल अनुमोदन एवं वितरण के आधार पर प्रोत्साहन राशि का प्रावधान है। इसके साथ साथ PMMKSSY के तहत कई और प्रावधान किए गए हैं, जैसे मात्स्यिकी क्षेत्र संबंधी ज्ञान में सुधार और बिजनेस की बेहतर समझ के लिए प्रशिक्षण प्रदान किया जा रहा है। मात्स्यिकी क्षेत्र से कोऑपरेटिव्स को FFPO के रूप में सशक्त बनाने के लिए सहायता प्रदान की जा रही है। मात्स्यिकी क्षेत्र की गतिविधियों के लिए आवश्यक लोन की जरूरत को सुलभता से पूरा करने के लिए बैंकों तक पहुंच को आसान बनाया जा रहा है। जल कृषि क्षेत्र में होने वाले नुकसान के जोखिम को ध्यान में रखते हुए मत्स्य पालन विभाग बीमा कंपनियों को नए एक्वाकल्चर इंश्योरेंस प्रोडक्ट्स बनाने के लिए प्रोत्साहित कर रहा है। मत्स्य किसानों को बीमा खरीदने पर वन टाइम इंसेंटिव के रूप में प्रोत्साहन राशि प्रदान की जा रही है। इसके अलावा जल कृषि और मात्स्यिकी क्षेत्र में सक्रिय सूक्ष्म और लघु उद्यमों को परफॉर्मेंस बेस्ड इंसेंटिव यानी कार्य निष्पादन आधारित अनुदान के माध्यम से प्रोत्साहित किया जा रहा है। यह प्रावधान वैल्यू चेन में कुशलता सुधारने एवं मात्स्यिकी उत्पादों की सुरक्षा एवं गुणवत्ता के क्षेत्र में कार्य निष्पादन के उपरांत ग्रांट के रूप में उपलब्ध है। मात्स्यिकी क्षेत्र की विभिन्न मूल्य श्रृंखला में ट्रेसेबिलिटी प्रणालियां विकसित की जा रही हैं। सामान्य श्रेणी के लाभार्थियों की तुलना में अनुसूचित जाति, अनुसूचित जनजाति और महिला लाभार्थियों के लिए विशेष दरों पर प्रोत्साहन राशि का प्रावधान किया गया है। पर्यावरण के अनुकूल सस्टेनेबल गतिविधियों को अपनाने के लिए बढ़ावा दिया जा रहा है। पूरे व्यवसाय को सुगम और पारदर्शी बनाया जा रहा है। साथ ही मत्स्य उत्पादन के पूरे वैल्यू चेन में रोजगार के नए अवसरों का सृजन किया जा रहा है। PMMKSSY योजना और खासकर NFDP पोर्टल से मछुआरे, मत्स्य पालक, मत्स्य श्रमिक, मत्स्य विक्रेता, मात्स्यिकी क्षेत्र में कार्यरत सूक्ष्म एवं लघु उद्यम जैसे स्वामित्व फर्म, साझेदारी फर्म, सहकारी समितियां, संघ, स्टार्टअप, मत्स्य FPO, कृषक उत्पादन संगठन और इस क्षेत्र से जुड़े अन्य सभी लोग लाभान्वित होंगे। प्रधानमंत्री मत्स्य किसान समृद्धि सह योजना का लाभ उठाने के लिए राष्ट्रीय मात्स्यिकी डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म पर स्वयं को तुरंत रजिस्टर करें। पंजीकृत लाभार्थी संस्थागत लोन, जल कृषि बीमा तथा परफॉर्मेंस ग्रांट आदि के लिए अपना आवेदन NFDP पोर्टल के माध्यम से कर सकते हैं। मत्स्यिकी क्षेत्र से जुड़े बंधु कृपया दिए गए लिंक पर जाएं और योजना का लाभ उठाएं। देर न करें, तुरंत रजिस्टर करें। www.nfdp.gov.in। किसी भी तरह की सहायता के लिए अपने नजदीकी कॉमन सर्विस सेंटर यानी CSSC से संपर्क करें या सोमवार से शुक्रवार सुबह 9:30 बजे से रात 8 बजे के बीच में PM-MKSSY के टोल फ्री नंबर 180042516660 पर कॉल करें।
PM-MKSSY मत्स्य क्षेत्र के लिए आसान ऋण सुविधा। प्रधानमंत्री मत्स्य किसान समृद्धि सह योजना PM-MKSSY के अंतर्गत अब मत्स्य किसानों, मछुआरों और छोटे उद्यमियों को ऋण सुविधा आसानी से उपलब्ध है। राष्ट्रीय मत्स्य डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म NFDP पर ऑनलाइन आवेदन करें, अपनी पात्रता जांचें और आवेदन की स्थिति ट्रैक करें। बैंक से ऋण पाने की प्रक्रिया अब सरल और पारदर्शी हो चुकी है। ऋण वितरण के बाद 5,000 तक की वित्तीय सहायता भी प्राप्त की जा सकती है। मत्स्य क्षेत्र को सशक्त बनाएं, अपनी आमदनी बढ़ाएं और राष्ट्र को समृद्ध बनाएं। अभी आवेदन करें nfdp.dof.gov.in पर या कॉल करें 1800-425-1660।
क्या आपको राष्ट्रीय मत्स्य डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म NFDP के बारे में पता है? ये मत्स्य क्षेत्र से जुड़े लोगों के लिए बहुत काम का प्लेटफॉर्म है, क्योंकि NFDP पर पंजीकरण करने से आप सीधे जुड़ जाते हैं प्रधानमंत्री मत्स्य किसान समृद्धि सह योजना यानी PM-MKSSY से, जहां मिलते हैं ऐसे लाभ जो बदल सकते हैं आपका मत्स्य क्षेत्र से जुड़ा कारोबार। कैसे? आइए जानते हैं। आपके काम की एक डिजिटल पहचान बनेगी, आसान वित्तीय सहायता और वर्किंग कैपिटल तक आपका पहुंचना आसान होगा। भारत सरकार की तरफ से एक्वाकल्चर बीमा पर एक मुश्त प्रोत्साहन राशि मिल सकती है। 2 करोड़ रुपए तक की परफॉर्मेंस ग्रांट भी मिल सकती है, ताकि आप अपने व्यवसाय को आगे बढ़ा सकें। NFDP पर पंजीकरण करना सिर्फ एक औपचारिकता नहीं, ये है आपके भविष्य की सुरक्षा, आपकी पहचान और आपकी तरक्की का रास्ता। तो देर किस बात की, आज ही रजिस्टर करें nfdp.dof.gov.in पर और बने भारत की ब्लू इकोनॉमी के सशक्त साथी। अधिक जानकारी के लिए टोल फ्री नंबर पर कॉल करें 1800-425-1660।
प्रधानमंत्री मत्स्य किसान समृद्धि सह योजना आई है। भारत के कोने कोने में नीली क्रांति लाई है। भारत के कोने कोने में नीली क्रांति लाई है। जन जन की यही पुकार, मत्स्य उद्योग में सबका उद्धार। मछुआरों को मिले सुविधाएं और भरोसा, क्रेडिट बीमा प्रशिक्षण हो सबका साथ। क्रेडिट बीमा प्रशिक्षण हो सबका साथ। तट से लेकर तालाब तक बढ़े नई समृद्धि, समुद्री जीवन पाए अब नए आयाम। मत्स्य जगत की प्रगति बनी किरण, जीवन सशक्त बने सभी का। यही है योजना मछुआरों का उत्थान, सब मिलकर गाएं।
अगर आप मत्स्य पालन जगत में किसी भी रूप में जुड़े हैं तो आज ही भारत सरकार के NFDP पोर्टल पर जाकर पंजीकरण करें और पात्र लाभार्थी प्रधानमंत्री मत्स्य किसान समृद्धि सह योजना के लाभ उठाएं। अधिक जानकारी के लिए आज ही nfdp.dof.gov.in पर जाएं।
प्रधानमंत्री मत्स्य किसान समृद्धि सहाय योजना स्कीम के बारे
क्या
में
आपको राष्ट्रीय
क्या-क्या
मत्स्य
प्रावधान रहता है, कैसे रजिस्टर करना है, so that whoever beneficiary is approaching to them, it will be helpful for them, sir, to get these details. Sir, before going with this small presentation, sir, I request the chair, joint secretary, sir, kindly address about the scheme. Then हम लोग एक छोटा सा presentation रखा है, sir, उसको explain कर. Please, sir.
Thank you, Srinivas. To begin with, let me welcome all the senior management from different banks, their staff, officers, those who are into the primary sector lending and taking care of the financial requirements of the agri and allied sector. As Srinivas just was mentioning, the fisheries sector needs, of late, fisheries and aquaculture has a, requirement of lot of investment. Most of the activities, whether they are on production side, post harvest, processing, the entire value chain activities of late, as we are transitioning from conventional activity to commercial activity, all components of fisheries are becoming capital intensive. We need to mobilize a lot of investment. So, and government alone cannot meet the requirement. So we need investment from private side also, public sector also, and all coming together can meet the requirement. Since last 11 years, Government of India has targeted investment of almost 40,000 crore in the sector. And the projects worth more than 32,000 crore have already been approved, rolled out, and majority of it has already been grounded and they are in operation. Except few bigger projects like fishing harbor, fish landing centers, rest of the projects are already projects worth more than 1,000 crore are already implemented and they are into production cycle. Now, as a result of this, investment, various policies, programs, the growth rate of the sector is the highest in all the agri-allied sectors. It is around 7.8% average annual growth rate. And to maintain this growth rate of about 8%, we need to ensure that we are adopting technology, we are adopting best aquaculture practices, good aquaculture practices, we adopt latest technologies and manage our production unit, processing unit with all kinds of technology infusion, be it even IoT, AI, deep learning, machine learning, and everything. And we are, from our side, trying our best that people, those who are coming and joining the sector, all of their requirements of finance is met and they have access to institutional credit, they get the timely credit, they get the benefit of all the ongoing schemes, programs of the government of India, state government, targeting that the credit requirement, the access to institutional credit in fisheries is not as good as agriculture or other sector or other agri-allied sector. We came out with a scheme that is Pradhan Mantri Matsya Kisan Samriddhi Sahay Yojana. And in Sahay Yojana, one of the component is facilitating the access to institutional credit. And already we have created National Fisheries Digital Platform with the provision that whosoever in the fisheries sector needs finance, needs loan, they can apply on the portal, and through portal, as quite a few banks are already onboarded, and we have already forwarded at least few thousand of applications to the bank's concerned bank. And I'm very thankful to the bank. Their you know uh, more than they have been willing all these months, and good number of applications they have received and approved. Disbursement has also happened, but to meet the requirement of the sector, there is still huge demand, huge appetite, and this is how we are meeting today to ensure that whatever applications have been mobilized or are in the process of being mobilized, they are taken care of. They are reaching the right uh, branch of the bank, and banks are, taking care of all such requests. They are dealt timely, promptly, and if there are any further requirements are there, they are met on priority basis, and we dispose them off, and the uh, business is started, business is kicked off. So with the idea to hear you out, that what all from the bank side, department side, we should be doing to upscale the uptake of this component of access to institutional credit, how department can facilitate, and in regard to the applications which have been received so far, what are the challenges, what are the gaps, because this is happening for the first time with fisheries, that we came out with this kind of you know facilitation. And from the bank's side, we want to find out what is the you know common product which majority of people are asking for. Do we need to go for more variety of products, diversification of products, or with the existing products, loan products, we are able to cater to the demand of fishers, fish farmers. So today we also have your feedback, and will best that the target, the aim, the objective with which this component has been included in the Sahyojana is successful, and more and more banks are onboarded, and the credit is flowing smoothly to the applicants, those who have approached the portal and applied for it. So, with these words, I again thank all the senior management from the bank, all the banks who have joined us today. And now I'll request Srinivas to take the webinar forward, because I have to go for another meeting which Secretary Sir has scheduled at 4:30. So Srinivas, thank you very much. Take this forward. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And once again, I welcome all the senior officers from the nationalist banks and other banks. I request Ashish, please share the presentation. As our Joint Secretary Sir is just now briefed about the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Kisan Samriddhi Sahyojana, I will just quickly run through with all the detailed benefits about this scheme. This is a World Bank assisted scheme, and having 100% central subsidy. There is no state government contribution in this. All funding will be 100% funding will be from the central government, and the tenure of the scheme is from 2023-24 to 26-27. But as in his opening remarks, our Joint Secretary Sir has already mentioned, we are already processing for the extension of this Pradhan Mantri Matsya Kisan Samriddhi Sahyojana in continuation with our flagship scheme of Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, phase 2, that is starting from the this financial April 2026 onwards. And in this total, the funding is 6,000 crore. Out of 6,000 crore, 3,000 crore is from the government of India, and 3,000 crores we are anticipating from the private beneficiaries. And out of this 3,000 crores government of India share, 1,500 crores we are getting from counter funding from our flagship scheme Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, and the balance 1,500 crore is from the World Bank and the AFD put together. Next slide. ये जो सब स्कीम है, जो प्रधानमंत्री मत्स्य संपदा सहाय योजना, इसका जो मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव है, जो फिशरी सेक्टर जो है, इट इज नॉट प्रॉपरली फार्मलाइज सेक्टर, बिकॉज सभी मछुआरा उनका पास प्रॉपर लैंड का डॉक्यूमेंट नहीं है, किसी के पास लैंड नहीं है, क्योंकि बहुत लोग जो है समुद्र का पास या नदी का पास और रिजर्वायर का पास अपना फिशिंग एक्टिविटीज में एंगेज्ड है, तो उनको एक अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड सेक्टर को ऑर्गेनाइज करने के लिए एक हम लोग डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म बनाया नेशनल लेवल में, नेशनल फिशरीज डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म। तो इसी प्लेटफॉर्म का थ्रू सभी जो इस फिशरी सेक्टर में जुड़ा हुआ है, राइट फ्रॉम फिशर्स है, फिश फार्मर्स है, और वेंडर्स है, और एंटरप्रेन्योर्स और प्रोसेसर्स, सबको इसी सेक्टर में जो भी एंगेज्ड है, लगभग 3 करोड़ लोग जुड़ा हुआ है इसी सेक्टर में, वो सबको इसी डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म का थ्रू रजिस्टर करा के एक डिजिटल आइडेंटिटी देने के लिए हम लोग एक नेशनल फिशरी डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म बनाया था। नेक्स्ट जैसा भी जो आज का मीटिंग का जो मेन फोकस एरिया है, जो फैसिलिटेशन टू इंस्टीट्यूशनल फाइनेंस, जो भी इसी सेक्टर में जुड़ा हुआ वर्किंग कैपिटल का रिक्वायरमेंट्स के लिए हम लोग सपोर्ट करेंगे फॉर देयर प्रोसेसिंग ऑफ देयर एप्लीकेशंस, और जो अदर एक्टिविटीज है फॉर दी इंफॉर्मेशन जो भी बेनिफिशरीज आपका बैंक का ऑफिसर्स के पास आएंगे, so that you can extend the other benefits of this scheme also other than the credit requirements, like one time incentive है for buying any aquaculture इंश्योरेंस। जैसा भी हमारा मोटर फील्ड में और हेल्थ सेक्टर में जैसा इंश्योरेंस इज प्लेइंग वेरी वेरी वाइटल रोल, जो एक्वाकल्चर एरिया है उसमें भी लॉट ऑफ रिस्क इन्वॉल्व है। एनी क्लाइमेट चेंज के लिए भी उसमें डिसीज भी आ सकता है, और साइक्लोन भी है का चलते भी उनका एक्वाकल्चर में बहुत सारा नुकसान हो सकता है। उसके लिए भी हम लोग एक्वाकल्चर इंश्योरेंस के लिए हम लोग प्रावधान रखा था। और एनएफडीपी पोर्टल में एक्वाकल्चर इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसीज भी अवेलेबल है अभी। तो जो भी फिश फार्मर्स आप लोग के पास क्रेडिट के लिए आएंगे, आप इसका भी डिटेल्स उनके साथ शेयर कर सकता है। ये जो पीपीटी भी हम लोग आपके साथ शेयर करेंगे, सभी जो ऑफिसर ज्वाइन था उनके साथ हम लोग शेयर करेंगे। इसका डिटेल्स सब्सिक्वेंट स्लाइड में आएंगे। और इसी सेक्टर में एफिशिएंसीज बढ़ाने के लिए हम लोग पॉइंट नंबर 4 और 5 में रखा था। एफिशिएंसीज बढ़ाने के लिए और क्वालिटी सिस्टम्स एंड सेफ्टी स्टैंडर्ड्स बढ़ाने के लिए भी हम लोग इंसेंटिव्स दे रहे हैं। वो भी कौन सा कैटेगरी को कितना अमाउंट मिलेगा वो हम सब्सिक्वेंट स्लाइड में बता रहे हैं। और अदर देन दिस एफिशिएंसीज एंड क्वालिटी सिस्टम्स, मोर जॉब्स क्रिएशंस के लिए हम लोग फोकस इसी कंपोनेंट में। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड। जैसा मैं अभी बताया था, नेशनल फिशरीज डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म जो है ये आप वेबसाइट का थ्रू भी जा सकता है, और प्ले स्टोर में जाके एनएफडीपी पोर्टल करके एक ऐप है, एनएफडीपी ऐप है, वो भी डाउनलोड कर सकता है। उसी का थ्रू रजिस्ट्रेशन कर सकता है। बहुत यूजर फ्रेंडली है। अपना आधार रिलेटेड मोबाइल नंबर में ओटीपी आ जाएंगे, उसी से अपना रेजिडेंस एड्रेस, उनका एज, ये सब डेटा में जो भी डेटा है वो ऑटोमेटिक कैप्चर हो जाएगा। और इसी सेक्टर में कौन सा एरिया में जुड़ा हुआ है, लाइक फार्मर है, और एंटरप्रेन्योर है, और प्रोसेसर है, और वेंडर है, जो भी एरिया में उनमें जुड़ा हुआ है, इसी करके कुछ बेसिक इंफॉर्मेशन देने से प्रोविजनल सर्टिफिकेट मिल जाएंगे इसमें एनएफडीपी पोर्टल में। एंड सब्सिक्वेंटली जो कंसर्न स्टेट गवर्नमेंट, जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल ऑफिसर्स, ब्लॉक लेवल ऑफिसर्स, वो डेटा को वेरीफाई करके रिकमेंड करेंगे, एंड सब्सिक्वेंटली अप्रूवल आ जाएगा, फाइनल अप्रूवल। वंस जो अप्रूव होने के बाद अगर खुद रजिस्ट्रेशन किया तो 100 रुपीज एज ए डॉक्यूमेंटेशन चार्जेस बेनिफिशियल को दिया जाएगा। अगर कोई खुद रजिस्टर करने में दिक्कत है, उनका कोई असिस्टेंस चाहिए, कॉमन सर्विस सेंटर का, पैन इंडिया का नेटवर्क का कहीं पे भी जाके अपना रजिस्ट्रेशन कर सकता है। तो उसी समय जो असिस्टेड रजिस्ट्रेशन में 20 रुपीज प्लस टैक्सेस सीएससी सेंटर को दिया जाएगा, एंड बैलेंस जो 76 रुपीज 40 पैसे है वो बेनिफिशियरी को रजिस्ट्रेशन डॉक्यूमेंटेशन चार्जेस के रूप में दिया जाएगा। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड। और जो मेन कंपोनेंट है आज हम लोग जो डिस्कस क्रेडिट के लिए, जो सक्सेसफुल लोन होगा, ये 3 स्लैब हम लोग रखा था। 5 लाख तक अगर किसी का लोन अगर सक्सेस हो जाता है तो एक सक्सेस फीस 3,000 रुपया दिया जाएगा। और 5 लाख से 10 लाख तक जो लोन अप्रूव होने से 4,000 रुपया दिया जाएगा। एंड 10 लाख से ऊपर जो भी लोन अप्रूव होता है उसको 5,000 रुपया दिया जाएगा एज ए डॉक्यूमेंटेशन चार्जेस, so that they will be encouraged for their documentation charges and other coordination charges. Next slide. और एक कंपोनेंट है जो फिशरी सेक्टर में जो कोऑपरेटिव जुड़ा हुआ है, उसको भी मजबूत करने के लिए हम लोग इस स्कीम में प्रावधान रखा था। हम लोग टारगेट कर रहे हैं 5,500 फिशरीज कोऑपरेटिव को मजबूत करेंगे। उसके लिए हम लोग ईच कोऑपरेटिव को 2 लाख रुपया रखा था। और उसी में जैसा उनका गैप एनालिसिस करके जो प्रेजेंटली उनका क्या कोर एरियाज है, एंड बिजनेस करने के लिए और क्या स्कोप है, एंड अदर पोर्ट एंड देयर एक्शन प्लान जो सब्सिक्वेंटली कैसे उनको फंक्शन करना है, एंड देन ट्रेनिंग, कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग एंड बेसिक जो ऑफिस फर्नीचर का रिक्वायरमेंट्स में हम लोग सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं। इसके लिए हम लोग जो 4 इंटरमीडिएट एजेंसी से जो कोऑपरेटिव सेक्टर में इंडिया में काम कर रहा है, लाइक एनसीडीसी है, नेफेड है, एसएफएसी एंड नेरबैक, ये चारों को थ्रू हम लोग ये 5,500 फिशरीज कोऑपरेटिव्स को मजबूत मजबूत करने के लिए काम कर रहा है। आई नो दिस, अदर देन जो क्रेडिट रिक्वायरमेंट, बाकी एक्टिविटीज डायरेक्टली आपका बैंक का साथ शायद इन्वॉल्वमेंट नहीं है, बट बहुत सारे बेनिफिशियरीज आप लोग का साथ इवन फॉर द नेक्स्ट जो परफॉर्मेंस ग्रांट्स में जो इन्वेस्टमेंट है उसके लिए आपके पास आ सकता है। तो इसलिए आप लोग का नॉलेज के लिए हम लोग सबमिट कर रहे हैं, सो दैट ये आप लोग का नॉलेज में रहेंगे। जो भी फिशरी सेक्टर का फिशर्स, फिश फार्मर्स, जो भी बेनिफिशरीज आपके पास आएंगे, आप उनको ये जो स्कीम के बारे में बता सकता है, तो अच्छा आउटरीच होगा और उनको भी मदद होगा, और बैंक्स को भी ये सेक्टर जब ग्रो होगा, उसका कोई एक्सपेंशन करेंगे, कोई परफॉर्मेंस ग्रांट्स के लिए इन्वेस्टमेंट करेंगे, दे विल get the assistance from the banks for getting more loans. Next slide. ये जैसे मैं बताया था, एक्वाकल्चर इंश्योरेंस के लिए भी हम लोग सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं इस स्कीम में। हम लोग लगभग 1 लाख हेक्टर्स के लिए हम लोग टारगेट कर रहा है इसी स्कीम में, बट इसमें हम लोग इंसेंटिव प्रोवाइड कर रहा है एक क्रॉप के लिए, एंड अप टू 4 हेक्टर तक हम लोग इसमें लिमिट रखा है। मींस जो छोटे एंड मार्जिनल फिशरमैन है उनको पूरा बेनिफिट मिले, सो दैट दे विल बी बेनिफिट। तो 4 हेक्टर का जो वाटर स्प्रेड एरिया है उन तक हम लोग इस स्कीम में सपोर्ट करने जा रहे हैं, और हर एक हेक्टर के लिए 25,000 रुपीज का सीलिंग रखा है, और 40% ऑफ द प्रीमियम अमाउंट, इसमें जो भी कम है वो उसको दिया जाएगा। एंड 4 हेक्टर के लिए सीलिंग रहेगा 1 लाख रुपया फॉर द जनरल कैंडिडेट। इन केस ऑफ अगर महिला है और SC ST बेनिफिशियरी है, उनके लिए 10% एडिशनल बेनिफिट दिया जाएगा। तो 1 लाख जो है वो 1,10,000 रहेंगे, इंसेंटिव का बेनिफिट है, और ये वन टाइम बेनिफिट है, एंड एक क्रॉप के लिए दिया जाएगा। और कन्वेंशनल जैसे पॉन्ड ये नहीं, जैसे इंटेंसिव एक्वाकल्चर है लाइक RAS, बायोफ्लैक और केज, उसमें भी हम लोग सपोर्ट किया जाएगा। उसमें लिमिट रखा है हम लोग 1,800 जो क्यूबिक मीटर का जो एरिया है वहां तक हम लोग इसका सीलिंग रखा है। वहां पे भी सेम है, 40% ऑफ द प्रीमियम वाट एवर दे पेड, और 1 लाख रुपया फॉर द जनरल बेनिफिशरीज, और इन केस ऑफ SC ST और वुमेन बेनिफिशरीज के लिए 10% एडिशनल बेनिफिट है, 1,10,000 तक है। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड। जैसा परफॉर्मेंस ग्रांट है, अभी कंपोनेंट 2 और 3, जिसमें आपका फिशरी सेक्टर में एग्जिस्टिंग जो परफॉर्मेंस है उसको इम्प्रूव करने के लिए हम लोग सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं इन द फॉर्म ऑफ परफॉर्मेंस ग्रांट, और जॉब्स भी क्रिएट करने के लिए। जैसा कन्वेंशनल एनर्जी का जगह अगर इम्प्रूव्ड रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी अगर यूज कर रहे हैं, और पोल्यूशन में, वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट में काम कर रहा है, और यानी डिकार्बोनेशन में काम कर रहा है, सम इंडिकेटिव ओनली, और कोई डिसीज मैनेजमेंट में काम कर रहा है, कोई वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट में काम कर रहा है, क्वालिटी स्टैंडर्ड्स में, सर्टिफिकेशन में, ट्रेसेबिलिटी में जो काम कर रहा है उसके लिए हम लोग सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं। और जो कंपोनेंट परफॉर्मेंस ग्रांट का जो कंपोनेंट है उसमें हम लोग ओनली माइक्रो एंटरप्रेन्योर्स को सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं। उसमें जनरल कैटेगरी के लिए 25% ऑफ उनका जो इन्वेस्टमेंट है वहां तक, और 35 lakhs ऊंचे और लोअर हम लोग सपोर्ट करेंगे इंसेंटिव के रूप में। अगर सेम माइक्रो एंटरप्रेन्योर्स SC ST एंड वुमेन एंटरप्रेन्योर है, उनके लिए 10% एडिशनल बेनिफिट दिया जाएगा, और 10 lakhs, लाइक 35% ऑफ देयर इन्वेस्टमेंट, और 45 lakhs। अगर स्मॉल एंटरप्रेन्योर्स है उनके लिए जनरल कैटेगरी में 25% और 75 lakhs which are less. In case of SC ST women beneficiaries से 35 lakhs और 1 करोड़ तक का इंसेंटिव दिया जाएगा। अगर कोऑपरेटिव से, सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप से, एफएफपीओ से, उसके लिए भी हम लोग इसी परफॉर्मेंस ग्रांट इसमें सपोर्ट कर रहा है। 35% ऑफ देयर टोटल इन्वेस्टमेंट 8 करोड़ तक हम सपोर्ट करेंगे। इसमें जो उनका जो टोटल इन्वेस्टमेंट है, उनका टोटल प्लांट एंड मशीनरी, इक्विपमेंट और जो एडिशनल जो जॉब्स क्रिएट कर रहा है उसका जो सैलरी बिल्स, ये सभी अमाउंट कंसिडर किया जाएगा जैसा वो 25% और 35% का जो कैलकुलेशन के लिए। और जो भी इंसेंटिव बन रहा है, वो जो इंसेंटिव है उसमें जो भी इंसेंटिव बन रहा है, वो जो इंसेंटिव में 50% इंसेंटिव है, उनका इन्वेस्टमेंट का एग्नेस्ट में जाएँगे एंड 50% जो इंसेंटिव है, वो जाएँगे जॉब क्रिएशन में। और जो जॉब क्रिएशन में भी वुमेन एम्प्लॉयमेंट के लिए 15,000 रुपीज़ पर ईयर दिया जाएगा। और मेल एम्प्लॉयमेंट है तो उनके लिए 10,000 रुपीज़ पर ईयर दिया जाएगा। और ये जो स्कीम अप्रूव हुआ 2023 में, इसलिए 1 अप्रैल 2023 का बाद जो भी इन्वेस्टमेंट किया था, वो सभी लोग इसी स्कीम में लाभ ले सकता है। तो मेरा अनुरोध है कि जो भी सीनियर ऑफिसर्स फ्रॉम वेरियस बैंक्स जो जॉइन किया है, ये हमारा मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द फंड जो है इसी कंपोनेंट 2 एंड 3 में रखा है। तो आप इसी के बारे में जो भी फिशरी सेक्टर का बेनिफिशियरी क्रेडिट रिक्वायरमेंट के लिए आएंगे, आप इसी का भी डिटेल्स उनके साथ शेयर करिए सो दैट दे कैन अवेल दिस बेनिफिट्स। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड। और ट्रेसेबिलिटी का भी हम लोग प्रावधान रखा, ट्रेसेबिलिटी भी इसी सेक्टर में बढ़ाने के लिए, क्योंकि अभी जो भी हम एक्सपोर्ट करने जाएंगे और डोमेस्टिक कंजम्पशन बढ़ाने के लिए हम लोग कस्टमर के पास सैटिस्फैक्शन होना चाहिए जो भी प्रोडक्ट वो कंज्यूम करने वाला है। तो उसके लिए ये कहाँ से प्रोड्यूस हुआ, कैसे प्रोड्यूस हुआ और क्या-क्या मेथोडोलॉजी यूज़ किया और कैसे प्रोसेस किया, ये सब जो है ट्रेसेबिलिटी होने से हम लोग को भी कॉन्फिडेंट भी रहेंगे। और कोई एक्सपोर्ट कंट्रीज लाइक यूरोप और यूएसए, वहां पे भी एक्सपोर्ट करने के लिए उसी कंट्रीज का कुछ क्वालिटी स्टैंडर्ड्स को मीट करने के लिए भी प्रॉपर ट्रेसेबिलिटी होने से हम लोग को एक्सपोर्ट्स बढ़ाने के लिए मदद आएगा। उसके लिए भी हम लोग प्रावधान रखा था जो डीपीआर बेस्ड ट्रेसेबिलिटी के लिए हम लोग सपोर्ट कर रहा है। अगर स्टेट गवर्नमेंट, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट जो मेजर एरिया में पूरा एक वैल्यू चेन प्रोजेक्ट को काम करने के लिए, जैसा 10 करोड़ से लेके पायलट प्रोजेक्ट्स जो है 10 लाख तक हम लोग वेरियस कैटेगरी में ट्रेसेबिलिटी में भी प्रावधान रखा था। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड। अभी तक जो क्रेडिट के लिए जो हमारा पास जो प्रोग्रेस हुआ अभी तक, ऑल नेशनलाइज्ड बैंक्स, जो 12 नेशनलाइज्ड बैंक्स हैं, सभी लोग इसी पोर्टल, हमारा एनएफडीबी पोर्टल में ऑलरेडी ज्वाइन किया है। और जो लोन एप्लीकेशंस जो भी आ रहा है, वो सब हम लोग कंसर्न्ड नियरेस्ट ब्रांच को फॉरवर्ड कर रहे हैं। और मोर देन 75,000 ब्रांचेस भी उनका लॉगिन क्रेडेंशियल दिया गया था इसी पोर्टल में। और ई-केसीसी भी हम लोग का सेक्टर में जो भी फिशरी सेक्टर में भी जो केसीसी किसान क्रेडिट कार्ड का जो प्रावधान लेने के लिए हम लोग एनएफडीबी पोर्टल में उनको इंटीग्रेट किया गया था। और ऑनलाइन ट्रेनिंग भी कराया था हम लोग सभी बैंक्स को। और बहुत सारा लोन एप्लीकेशंस भी प्रोसेस हो गया एंड लोन्स भी डिस्कस हो गया था। नेक्स्ट नेक्स्ट स्लाइड। हम लोग का जो एक्सपेक्टेशंस है, जैसा भी ओपनिंग रिमार्क्स हमारा जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी सर बता रहा था, जो भी आपके पास एप्लीकेशंस आ रहा है फॉर द क्रेडिट रिक्वायरमेंट, आई रिक्वेस्ट देम टू प्रोसेस ऑन टॉप प्रायोरिटी। एंड हम लोग अभी रिसेंटली डीएफएस के साथ भी एक मीटिंग रखा था एंड एज पर द सजेशंस ऑफ डीएफएस, जो बहुत सारा एप्लीकेशंस जो है रिजेक्ट हो रहा है और रीप्रोसेसिंग के लिए वापस आ रहा है बिकॉज ऑफ द लैक ऑफ अवेयरनेस अबाउट द डॉक्यूमेंट्स रिक्वायरमेंट। इसके लिए हम लोग फिर से एक चेकलिस्ट भी ऐड किया था, जो बेनिफिशियरीज जो भी लोन के लिए एप्लीकेशन भर रहा है, को क्या डॉक्यूमेंट्स अटैच करना है, what are all the mandatory requirements, so that so they can applications with all the required supporting documents and also subsequently banks को भी स्क्रूटनी करने में आसानी होगा और रिजेक्शन परसेंटेज भी कम होगा एप्लीकेशंस के लिए। एंड आई ऑल्सो रिक्वेस्ट जो भी ऑफिसर्स बैंक का सीनियर ऑफिसर जो ज्वाइन किया है, आपका कोई भी कैंप्स या कोई इंटरेक्शन मीटिंग्स हो रहा है एट ground level, I request all officers to spread the benefits of this scheme with all the beneficiaries so that they can avail the benefits, and in turn banks also will get benefit. They will come to the bank for availing the other loans also, like value chain efficiency के लिए उनको जो भी payments चाहिए, they can get investment credit support from the bank only. Next. Thank you. This only from my side. अभी छोटा से जो दो हमारा PMU टीम मेंबर्स है, कोलिग्स है, दे विल प्रेजेंट रिगार्डिंग द मैरीन फिशरीज एंड इसका कंपोनेंट्स है, और एक एक्वाकल्चर उसमें क्या क्या कंपोनेंट्स रहता है, सो दैट इट विल बी मोर इंफॉर्मेटिव टू द ऑल द बैंक्स. विद दिस हैंड ओवर टू आशीष फॉर द सब्सिक्वेंट प्रेजेंटेशंस.
Sir. Now, Mr. Anil Kumar, Dr. Anil Kumar, he will be throwing some light upon the marine culture and the component associated with the marine fisheries.
Thank you, Ashish. Good afternoon to all the participants. I am Dr. Anil Kumar. I will now present on the marine fisheries in India and what are the opportunities for institutional credit in this sector. Next slide, please. So now let us see how this fishery sector is important. So the fishery sector is the India is the second largest producer of fish in the world, and we are already producing 8% of the global fish production. So it is a contributor to the food and nutrition of the country. And it generates a large number of employment. Around 3 crore plus people is being provided direct and indirect employment by fishery sector. And it also contributes to the economic growth of the country. The average GVA is 7.43%, and it contributes 1% of the total national GDP. It also generates huge foreign exchange. In the year 2024-25, India generated a foreign exchange of $7.45 billion, which is 18% of the agriculture export from India. So this is the outline of the fishery sector in India. And now let us see the resource-wise, what are the resources we are having. India is having an extensive coastline of more than 11,000 kilometers. Production of marine fisheries to the total fish production in India is approximately 25%. We have got a exclusive economic zone of 2.02 million square kilometer, and there are approximately 13,000 marine species available in the Indian marine waters. And now let us see what are the key coastal states. This includes Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Odisha, West Bengal, and the islands of Andaman and Nicobar and Lakshadweep. I told you that there are around 13,000 species in Indian marine waters. So now let us see what are those different types of species available in the Indian marine water. So first category is the marine fin fishes. These are the fishes which constitute around 2,500 species. Now the next category is crustaceans, which comprises of shrimp, crab, lobster. There are 3,000 species of this. Actually, in the next slide, I can show the photographs of these species. Right now, I'll just give a description, and then next can see the photographs. So after crustaceans, there are a group of known as mollusks, which is 3,300 species are there. This includes squid, cuttlefish, octopus, etc. Then there is a group known as echinoderms, which comprises of sea cucumber, starfish, sea urchin, etc. Then elasmobranchs are there, which comprises of sharks and rays. There are 110 to 120 species are there. Then another one important species is the marine algae, which is known as seaweed. There are around 1,000 species of seaweed available in Indian marine waters. And then there are marine mammals and reptiles constituting around 30 to 35 species. So this is the overall species diversity in the Indian marine water. So out of these 13,000 species, around 300 to 350 species are commercially exploited. And out of that, around 60 to 70 species are primarily, having potential for export. And among the exported species, the major items are shrimp, squid, catfish, and tuna. So this is the idea about the marine resources available in the Indian marine waters. Next slide. So this is a slide which gives an idea about the species which I described to you earlier. The first one is the finfishes. Different varieties of fishes are shown here. This include the pomfret, then sardine is there, then tuna is there. So there are different finfishes you can see in the first picture. Then the second one is the patients, which comprises the first one and the second picture. The left side first one is the shrimp, the middle one is the crab, and the right one is the lobster. In the mollusk, you can see on the left side, it is the squid. Then next one is octopus. Then the right one is the mussel, and then edible oyster. So these are some of the molluscan species available in Indian marine water. The echinoderms, I told you, it is the sea star, sea cucumber, etc. And elasmobranch, we have the shark, rays, etc. And then finally, seaweeds. These are basically the algae which are available in marine water. These are marine algae. So there are three types of seaweed in Indian water. Even there are three types of seaweed across the world also. This is divided based on the color or the pigment present in the seaweed. So this will give an idea about the creatures or the species which are available in Indian marine water. Next slide. So now let us see who are the stakeholders in the marine fisheries ecosystem. We can divide the stakeholders into three categories. One is the primary producer, industry actors, and support systems. So the primary producers are the people who are either catching the fish or producing the fish. So there are traditional fishers who catch the fishes from the sea. Then there are motorized and mechanized boat owners who also catch fishes from the sea. Then there are fish farmers. This comprises of farming the fish in the sea. And then there are cooperatives and fish farmer producer organizations. So these are the different primary producers in the marine ecosystem in India. Then there are some industry actors like processor. Processor is the person who is getting the fish either from the sea or which has been farmed, is processed and then sold to the consumers. It is done through the traders, exporters, and retailers. So these are the industry actors present within the marine fisheries ecosystem, the key stakeholder. Now the support system comprises of the input suppliers. This can be the people who are supplying boat, the net, etc. for the fishermen, or the people who are supplying the feed and seed for the fish farmer. So all these people are known as input supplier. Then there are government and regulatory agencies. Like in the center, we have the Ministry of Fisheries and the center of the union government. And at the state level, there are state government fisheries department who has the regulatory power. And then there are, for the export purpose, there is Marine Product Export Development Authority under Ministry of Commerce. Then there is Export Inspection Agency. So these are some of the regulatory agencies involved in the fisheries ecosystem. Then there are financial institutions like the banks. And then there are research institutes. There are 8 research institutes by the Indian Council of Agriculture Research, which do research on fisheries sector. So these are the key stakeholders in the marine fisheries ecosystem in India. So now let us see what are the different activities within the marine fisheries sector in India. The activities can be divided into 4. One is the capture fisheries, which comprises of catching the fish from the sea. Then second is the mariculture. This is nothing but culturing of marine species within the sea. This is known as mariculture. Then there is post-harvest handling and processing, which will process the fish which has been caught or cultured and processed, and then it is marketed and stored and transported. So these are the four major activities. And now let us see what are the different aspects covered under each category or each activity. So first is the fishing craft. Fishing craft is nothing but the boats which are used to catch the fishes. So broadly, the boats can be divided into categories. One is known as the traditional boats, which is actually nothing but a plank-built boat, or there are dugout canoes which have a very low investment. And this is a livelihood-oriented activity done by the traditional people working in this area. Then there are motorized boats where the traditional boats have been modified by fitting outboard motors. So this outboard motor will propel the boat, and this is a small to medium investment is involved, and this comprises of the artisanal or commercial scale fisheries. Then there are mechanized boat where the engine is actually a boat engine. The difference between motorized and mechanized boat is that the motorized boat, the engine will be an outboard motor, and for the mechanized boat, it will be an inboard engine. And the mechanized boat can be divided into different categories like trawler, gill netter, etc. This is based on the net which they are going to operate. Accordingly, there are different type of mechanized boat. And the main category is the deep sea vessels, which comprises of very capital intensive deep sea trawlers. And this is mostly for export oriented. And the current budget is actually giving a lot of incentive to go for deep sea vessels. And there are a lot many tax incentives for doing so. So this is one emerging area where a lot of investment can come. Next. So these are the pictures of some of the boats which are being used in Indian marine sector. I told about the non-traditional non-motorized boat. That is the first one. There will be no actually engine or no motor. The people will be actually operating it with the sail or the oars like that. Then the right hand side, the second picture is the motorized fishing boat. So there you can see there is a motor fitted outside the boat, the outboard motor. Then there is a mechanized fishing boat where there is a proper motor which is fitted inside the boat. And the fourth one is a deep sea fishing trawler, which is a very sturdy boat, which is used for multiple days of operation and to catch high value fishes from the deep sea. Next slide. So after the boat, now comes the gear. Gear is nothing but the net which is used to catch the fish. So the net again can be classified into trawl net, where it is if it is you are trolling in the bottom, it is not a bottom trawl. Then there's a mid-water trawl. So these are a different type of trawl net. Then there is a gill net, then seed nets, hook and line gears. This is where a hand line or a pole and line fisheries is operated. Then there are traditional and indigenous gears, which is mainly used by the traditional non-motorized fishers. These include the cast net, scoop net, etc. So this is the traditional indigenous gear. And then there are specialized gears like squid jig, crab pots. These are actually used for catching some specific species of animals. So these are broadly the nets which are used in Indian marine fisheries sector. Next slide. This is the picture of the different nets used in the fisheries sector. This is the bottom trawl, where this net is actually used in the bottom of the water column. Then there is a gill net, which will be either fixed or which will be a drifting thing. And there's a purseine, which is actually circled. The purseine is basically a net, which will actually encircle the fish, which is moving as a group. There is a phenomenon known as shoaling, SCHOOLING. So the process is nothing but the fishes will move in a group as a single group. So these nets are actually used to encircle these fishes, and then the fishes are being caught. So for that purpose, purseines are used. Then Chinese dip net is nothing but it's a traditional net which is used to catch fishes in the nearshore area. Pole and line again is with a pole and line the fishes has been caught. Then the squid jig is basically nothing but it is a sort of a sharp tool by which the squids are being caught. So this is exclusively for catching squid only. So this is a specialized gear or a specialized tool which has been used to catch the squid. So these are broadly some of the nets which are being used to catch the marine fishes. Next one. So after the catching fish from the sea, the next activity is mariculture. It is nothing but culturing marine species of fishes or other items. So the candidate species, like what are the different species being cultured in India? So among the fishes, there are two main species. One is the cobia and pompano are the two major species of fishes which has been having a potential for culture in India. Then among the crustaceans, crabs and lobsters have a potential for culture. Among the mollusca, the oysters and mussels. There are green mussel and brown mussel, two types of mussel which are available in India. Then there are oyster. That is, you have two types of oyster. One is the edible oyster, which is used as a food, and there is a pearl oyster from which pearl is been extracted and which is used as an ornamental purpose. So that can also be happen under this mariculture activity. Then another important species is the seaweed. So basically only one species, the Capaphycus, is the only species which is predominantly cultured in India currently. But there are two other species, Asillaria and Ulva, which is having a lot of potential. So in the future, in the upcoming days, these species also will be cultured in India. So these are the major species of which can be cultured in marine waters in India. So now let us see what are the farming systems. So in order to culture these things, different farming systems are used. Like for example, sea cages are used to culture the fishes like cobia and pompano. Again, the sea culture, if the cages are kept in the near shore, it is known as near shore sea cage culture. And even it can be kept in the offshore by anchoring it, and it can be kept in the offshore. So it is known as an offshore farming system of sea cage. Then the raft culture is used for farming the mollusks like oysters and mussels as well as seaweed. Again, longline is also used for culturing the same oyster and mussel and the seaweed. Then there are coastal pond-based mariculture for fattening of crabs and lobsters, and also for the culture of finfishes like cobia. Then there is ornamental fish culture, which is actually for hobby purpose. It can be used, and which is having a lot of potential both in the as well as the export market. So these are the broader farming systems which can be used for farming marine species in India. Next slide. This is a glimpse of some of the farming systems. One is a cage where actually it's in round in shape, and there are different materials by which the cage is prepared. Sometimes it can be made up of FRP material, or even iron cages are there. So depending upon where it is been installed, the material of the cage has been selected. Then second one is the raft culture, which is actually here there is of culturing of seaweed in the bamboo raft. This is mostly done by the women groups, and in a very small scale activities happening here. Then the third one is a long line culture, where the mussels are being cultured on a long line. So these are some of the pictures of the culture activities which can be taken up in the marine sector in India. Next slide. So one is the culture activity. Now, in order to do the culture, there are some inputs required for that. For example, in order to culture the fishes, you need the seed of the fishes, which is produced in a hatchery. So there is a requirement of a hatchery for the fishes or even the seaweed and etc. So that is one input required. Then next is the feed and nutritional system, because the species need feed. It can be in terms of extruded feed or even the live feed for the initial stages of the life. Then farm infrastructure like sea cages, raft, longline, etc. These are some of the input required for the farming. And finally, the input required is a health and biosecurity, where laboratories are required in order to ensure that there is no disease happening, or for the biosecurity purposes, the diagnostic laboratories are required. So these are broadly the input which are being required for doing mariculture activities. Next slide. So once the fish is either cultured or either caught from the sea, then next is the handling of fishes. So immediately after harvesting, it is actually cleaned and chilled within either in the farm or within the boat only, and it is then brought to the landing center or the fishing harbor. So that is a preliminary, after harvesting, that is a preliminary processing which has been happened. Next slide. So after that, then the fishes will be going for the actual processing part of it. So after the preliminary processing, which involves the sorting, grading, washing, etc., then comes the deheading. Deheading is nothing but removing the head of the fish. Then gutting is the removing the gut of the fish and then cleaning it. After that, it is either iced or it is chilled if the preservation is for a shorter duration. And if you want to preserve it for a long duration, then we can go for freezing. So there are different types of freezers used in fisheries. One is a plate freezer, blast freezer, individual quick frozen system. So these are different types of freezing activity. So once it is frozen, then it is kept in a cold storage so that the temperature can be maintained, so that there is no thawing happening, and fish or any other seafood will remain in a very good quality and good condition. Then there are some value addition activities happening, like production of ready-to-cook products and ready-to-eat products. Nowadays, these products are having a lot of domestic market. So this is one area where not many projects can happen in the future. Then there are some other methods like drying and curing, which comprises of the sun drying or even the mechanical drying and all. Then another method is the canning. There are some particular species which is having very high oily content, like tuna or sardine, mackerel, etc. They are actually canned either in a brine solution or in a saline solution, and it can be preserved for a longer duration. So these are broadly the different type of processing activities. So after processing, the next step is the marketing. So the marketing comprises of wholesale market and retail markets, and then there are direct marketing also happening by the cooperatives and FFPOs. Then this is the domestic thing, and then there is a export-oriented activity. Then after that, there are the market infrastructure, includes the fish auction halls, then hygienic markets. So these are some of the market infrastructure related to the fishery sector. Next. Now, after market, it is the transportation. So for the transportation, there are vehicles which is used for transport, which include the reefer vehicles or insulated vehicles. So these insulated vehicles will transport these frozen products and ensure that the product is in a good condition. Next slide. So now let us come like what are the credit opportunities across the value chain. So in the capture fisheries, people can come to the bank for procuring the boat, engine, nets, then safety equipment, etc. The people doing the cold chain, they can come for establishing ice plant, cold storage, procuring insulated vehicle, etc. In the mariculture for cage culture, raft culture, etc., people can approach the bank for financial assistance. Then under processing, that could be peeling shed, freezing units, drying unit, etc. And then seaweed is one of the sunrise activity, which many projects can come in the future. So for the seaweed farming and processing, there may be a credit requirement. And also credit is required for trading and marketing, which involves the retail outlet, fish market, etc. Next slide. So what are the credit opportunities for the bank? So the credit opportunity can be a term loan for financing deep sea vessel, modern engines, fishing gear, etc. Or there may be a credit requirement for working capital. It is for a short-term requirement for procuring fuel, procuring ice, or for paying the labor, etc. Then there may be infrastructure finance, like for example, for creating a cold storage or processing plant, etc., where there is a huge infrastructure facilities are required. Then there is an export credit for the exporters. So these are some of the credit opportunities which banks are having in this sector. Next slide. So this will give like what are the stakeholders involved and what are the purposes for which they may come to a bank for the credit, and what will be the loan size and the tenure. Like for example, the traditional fisher can come for buying a boat, net, etc. And the loan size can be around 50,000 rupees to 5 lakh rupees, in the range of that. And the tenure they may be requesting would be around 3 to 5 years. Similarly, for motorized and mechanized boat, it is 10 lakh to 50 lakhs would be the loan size, and the tenure could be around 5 to 8 years. Similarly, fish farmer may require around 2 lakh to 50 lakh rupees as a loan, and a tenure would be around 3 to 7 years. Processors and traders may have a higher requirement of around 10 lakh rupees to 5 crore rupees, and with a requirement time of around 5 to 10 years. Input suppliers may need around 10 lakh to 2 crore, depending upon the input they are going to supply. Then cooperatives and FFPOs, mostly for marketing and buying the inputs, they may require a loan of around 10 lakh to 5 crore rupees, and a tenure will be 5 to 10 years, maybe the tenure. Next slide. So now let us see why the fisheries is a highly bankable sector. Here the production cycles are very short. Like for example, if a boat go to the sea, the same day they come back with the product, and then the same day they're selling it, so they're getting the revenue the same day. For example, if you take a shrimp culture or even if you take a seaweed culture, mostly the culture period is around 45 days, that is around 1.5 months. So after that, immediately they can sell the products and then they can get the revenue. Then there is a regular cash flow of this short production cycle. And the export, there is a huge potential, so that there is a good chance of getting export revenues. And the growing demand, the domestic consumption is also growing. So there is a growing demand for fisheries product within the country. And then government is also giving support in the form of PMMKSY. Then there is a infrastructure fund is there, fisheries and aquaculture infrastructure fund is there. Then there is a primary sector lending compliance is also one of the reasons by which this is considered as a highly bankable sector. Next slide. So how fisheries is coming under the priority sector lending? Capture fisheries, fish processing, and aquaculture and infrastructure development has come under the RBI explicit inclusion. And the eligible target groups are small scale fisheries, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, self-help group, women groups, etc. So here the key advantage for the bank is that fisheries lending will count toward the priority sector lending targets and will have to achieve the socio-economic inclusion objectives. So that is a key advantage of lending in this particular sector. Next slide. Now, apart from this particular activity, under the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Kisan Samriddhi Sahi Yojana, we also provide aquaculture insurance and also the performance grant. So, for example, if a institutional credit from the bank, and if he is doing an aquaculture activity, he can also actually get a one-time incentive for procuring the premium for aquaculture insurance. So that if by taking the insurance, the risk of actually losing the crop can be reduced, so that the risk of taking a loan also will get reduced accordingly. And same way, the performance grant is being provided for improving the value chain efficiency in the sector and to produce safe and quality fish products. So that amount is provided to the beneficiary as a performance grant from this PMMKSY, so that the risk of actually, the bank will be reduced because of these particular other, component PMMKSY. So there is a synergistic benefit because of all these particular components. Next slide. Now, what is the strategic opportunities for the bank? It's a low ticket lending and with high impact. Then the sector is having a very high growth. It is one of the fastest growing sector within the Indian economy. There's a high opportunity for export, and it comes under this priority sector lending compliance. And there are many activities which is supported by the government, which will mitigate the risk. So these are the strategic opportunities for the bank. Next slide, please. So now, finally, the key takeaway, the fishery sector is a sunrise sector, which is having a high growth potential, and it is being backed by the government. And it is having a very low risk because of the short cycles and regular cash flow. Then there are diverse opportunities with multiple credit touch points. There is a long-term customer engagement, and there is a PSL alignment with this sector. And this also contribute to the national growth and the food security of the country. So this is the key takeaway of this particular sector. Next slide. So with that, I conclude my presentation. So I can say that the marine fisheries is equivalent to the business and livelihood and the national growth. And we can work together and transform this fisheries sector into through inclusive banking credit and ensure that the sector is thriving. So I thank all of the patient hearing, and subsequently, if there is any queries, you can ask me after the next presentation. Thank you.
Now to throw some light upon the aquaculture aspect of the fishery fish farming, I will invite my colleague Anindya Shekhar Mohanty, who is an aquaculture specialist, to give a presentation on the subject matter and enlighten the audiences. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, continue with the welcome note from the Joint Secretary Sir and the continue that techno-commercial part from the fisheries from Dr. Anil. I'm continuing with this taking no time. So, before going, just I want to highlight the two lines. It is marked by our Joint Secretary Sir. In spite of is the highest one from agri-allied sector, 7.8% average annual growth rate in fisheries, and that credit module to the fisheries is pursuing a very average and low standard from the banker side. And बहुत सम्मान के साथ मैं कहना पसंद करूंगा कि ये this is only due to the under awareness and under sensitizations. People are still in the portion of some decades ago that only the fishery is confined to only the pond culture and the backward pond culture, only with the self consumption, feeding them only the kitchen refuges and any auxiliary things. Now, by the genetically improved species and the technological intervention to the fisheries, that it is booming and growing like 8% annual average growth rate. And it is the most bankable credit module system in the fisheries right now. So the why, if we'll ask, in spite of this growth, why this credit to the fisheries is under sensitizations, this answer to the why can justify why this presentation is for, why the credit module is justifying the fisheries in a positive intent. So what is fisheries in aquaculture, I don't want to waste much more time on that. You all are sensitized from the Dr. Anil's presentations that it is fisheries divided into aquaculture and of course the marine fisheries, and marine fisheries also this is rearing and capturing the two parts. And what is the commercial fish farming? This is absolutely aquaculture, which is predominantly said the agri-allied sector. So this is normally the rearing and husbandry to economical and commercially viable aquatic species, or animal or plant maybe, like from the last presentation, seaweed, glacial things, and from the animal side, this is flora and fauna, commercially it includes. This is the three types, there are freshwater aquaculture, brackish water aquaculture, and mariculture. And sir, why, this is the answer to the why on the next slide onwards. This is a very healthy comparison between agriculture and aquaculture. Of course, we can't avoid the agriculture. हम अनाज के बिना, हम पेड़ी के बिना, हम pulses के बिना हम रह नहीं सकते. सवाल यहाँ रहना ना रहना, क्या जरूरत है, क्या नहीं है, कितना impact है, वो नहीं है. When we're looking after the business purpose, when looking after the investment and the return purpose, when we're looking after entrepreneurship model purpose, we can just, we can go through this healthy comparison in agriculture and aquaculture, why it is more sustainable, why it is more profitable, and it is why it is more durable, like in comparison to agriculture. Sir, factors in comparison to agriculture, when we'll take the land as a factor, you can see the very common thing, we have not marked it well. So it's a two-dimensional use. In agriculture, any paddy or pulses or anything, this is length and breadth we are using. In aquaculture, the space are being used because of the three dimensional. For the space, when we are excavating the pond, we are using the depth of the pond. This is why it is more efficient. It is in incorporation of the stocking density and the sowing. It is the high stocking density is in aquaculture, very high stocking density, and it is more yield has been experienced. And preparation of each crop, and after the each crop in agriculture, you have to go for that pre-sowing preparation, pre-stocking preparation, and in aquaculture, at least in IMC's culture, in very conventional type of culture, go for the semi-intensive as well. We can after the pre-stocking preparation for the one crop, we can continue it. If we are following the best management practices, we can go for 5 to 7 years minimum. And it is in every crop in agriculture, this is seasonal variant are there. But in aquaculture, it is around the year, irrespective of any species. And this is a species variety. In agriculture, you can go for the single or monocrop culture. In aquaculture, you can go for multiple species stocking, like with the amiability and compatibility person, means a species in multi-species culture, we can go for the technical envision that the species must be compatible and amiable to each other. regarding the food competition and in sustaining in the pond. And the production obviously will be much more. And the incorporation in between means if you are practicing any paddy type of any top variant, any genetically modified and improved variety of the crop in agriculture, you can't intervene in between when the culture, one single crop culture is going on. But in aquaculture, multiple species stocking multiple times and multiple species harvesting in multiple times in a year, it is possible irrespective of if you are practicing IMC, you are stocking. IMC means this is Katla rohu mrigal, which is a very conventional type of edible fishes are being found in the market on the table. So this is any type of species intervention you can do in between, irrespective of size and all. And in the human resource, in the aquaculture, you don't have to give much more time to the aquaculture stocking. Only some operational part you have to look after day by day. And the growth rate, of course, growth rate is a maximum in aquaculture, not in agriculture also. But you just beyond that any post production and harvesting processing technology, when you are practicing any raw product from the culture side, aquaculture in 1 hectare area is always dominating than any type of crop culture. And this is the technology. Though the high yielding crop and some machinery has been involved and it is incorporated in agriculture, still some genetically improved and modified species and advanced aquaculture technology like recirculated aquaculture systems, biofuel technology, and catch culture system in reservoirs, and in-pond ratio system IPRS. These are giving the more profit and the more yield in a year in multiple times. Then water use. And in advanced aquaculture technology like RIS, biofloc, and biofloc technology, 100% water is reused and it is a very sustainable. Sustainability is found to be very effective regarding water use, which is going to be very serious global threats. But in aquaculture, it is found to be very good and great for the future. Turnover and income. Of course, any type of utilizing the high yielding crop and machineries, you can go with maximum 1 lakh and 1.25 lakhs per hectare is the maximum income, means it's the profit. But in aquaculture, it is comparison to agriculture, it is 2 and 3 and sometimes more than that. And it is a value addition. After value addition in the processing and value addition industries, like Dr. Ranjan said in his presentations, value addition of the beheading, degutting, canned product, salted product, it is very high demand in abroad market from India. And India is generating the maximum revenues from export as well. Now, return on investment is always low to moderate nowadays in agriculture, and it is also growing and accelerating by economical point of view. Aquaculture it is already established. And risk factor. When is comparing the risk factor in agriculture and aquaculture, weather, pests, and droughts are the agricultural threats, and from the aquaculture, water quality, disease, and price and volatility. What is the difference between that? These three and beyond three in agriculture threats, these are all nature driven. It is very difficult to control these. But in aquaculture, water quality you can manage, disease you can control, and the price and volatility you can control by the policy and the market control board. And if we are integrating the aquaculture with on agriculture or in the livestock, the profit is, of course, it's more than that. Sustainably utilizing the land resources and the water spread resources as well. Now, this is the thing. Now we will take some examples from the culture systems, not going very much of its technicality. We can go on the visualizing only the economical part, which is the main concept of the bankers, to lend, to finance comfortably to the fishery sector. So the time is now just not limited to only the extensive type of farming, as I've said in the last slides, only the backward pond farming, only giving the kitchen refuges or any type of food just for household consumptions. Now, since the last decades and the interventions of some schemes like Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana and Pradhan Mantri Matsya Kisana Samriddhi Sahay Yojana, and this is the subsidized and this is a grant scheme respectively. And some states are also introducing some policies to enhance that freshwater pond culture systems. Now, this is very small. example of 1 hectare of pond semi-intensive farming under best management practices. This is the non-recurring fixed or capital cost, which is fixed for the maximum type of species in culture in freshwater pond. This is almost 7 lakh, 6.95,000. This is excavation of pond and preparation, fencing and biosecurity, and miscellaneous. And the recurring cost, which is the operational cost, which is the variable cost, pre-stocking the preparation, advanced fingerling stocking, only the freshwater species like Katla, Rahu, Mrigal, and post-stocking operations like probiotics, minerals, medicines, labor cost, etc., harvesting and miscellaneous, it is almost 4 lakhs, 3 lakhs and 96,000. And with a minimum survivability, if you are stocking the bigger size of fishes like advanced fingerling, if you can calculate the survivability is just more than 80%. Average harvesting site after the 10 months or 11 months of culture, basically after fingerling stocking, table size production takes as a 10 to 11 months, and 12 months is the harvesting, and next you can go for the pre-stocking preparation again. And if you are going to 850 to 900 grams below 1 kg also, harvest price you can achieve the 150 rupees per kg. The total turnover is almost 11 lakhs from a hectare annual, and the net profit is more than 7 lakhs. And it is the farm gate price when you are selling it to the wholesaler or any stockist. When you are getting the order, or you can access the retail market, the farmer can access the direct or retail business or any personal or event order. The turnover may be exceeding the 16 lakhs, and of course the profit will be 10 to 11 lakhs. This is the very minimum things. It has been practiced. It has been proved. This is, you must have consumed the freshwater giant prawn. It's called the macrobacterium rosenbergi. This is the economy of 1 hectare of semi-intensive scampi farming under the best management practices. Of course, if the survivability, if you are stocking 3 species per square meter per hectare, 10,000 square meter, and species stock 30,000 species, if the survivability will be 80%, 7 to 8 months just for the monoculture I am telling, and the harvesting size is 150 grams, means 1 kg. If you are harvesting 6 to 7 species, the farm gate price, you can obviously get that more than 300 rupees per kg. Total turnover is 10 lakh 80,000, and net profit more than 6 lakh, going nowhere for a farmer. And if it is integrated with Katla and Rohu, replacing Mrigal as a bottom dweller species, not going technicality, and you can, the profit of course will be much more. And this is like the tilapia. We have talked about the genetically improved or genetically modified. This is a genetically improved farm tilapia. This is a South African species and developed by the World Fish and Government of India. It has been introduced in the last half of the decades. And the farm gate price, this, you can go for the capital cost, which earlier we have discussed over here. And capital cost is almost same for all. You can minimize the capital cost for the tilapia because it is very hardy species. It can sustain. The survivability is almost 90%, but I'm showing you the survivability is 80% is minimum. You can get the profit up to more than 6 lakh as well. And this is the pangasius farming. Pangasius farming also semi-intensive farming. It's a very hardy species. Survivability is more than 85%. You can get the 9.37 lakhs per annum. And this is the scampi farming, shrimp farming. Sorry, this is the Leptopinus vinamai. After the cross of that tiger prawn, this is the Leptopinus vinamai had been introduced under the best management practice of 1 hectare crop. And I'm telling you, whatever the revenue is generating, whatever the revenue has been generated since the last decades by the Indian export from the fishery side, lion share has been found from only the shrimp side from the Leptopinus vinamai. And the Leptopinus vinamai, this is after the pre-stocking and the capital cost, and the input cost is almost about 18 lakhs 56,000, and the total cost is about 39 lakhs and 41,000, and only will be stick to the 18 lakhs and 56,000 is the input cost or recurring cost and per crop. And interestingly, this is the culture just beyond the 3 months and before the 4 months you can harvest. Maximum is 110 to 130 days harvesting. and the survivability rate is 80 to 85%. It is now decreased. The time was that in the survivability was more than 95%. I'm telling about the matter of 2014 and 15 in Andhra. Somewhere I have found more than 98% survivability in Tupilabaram and Siddhapuram, I can remember. If you are harvesting average size up to 22 to just 25 grams in 110 and 130 days, and harvesting total harvest is 9 points, almost about 10 tons per hectare, and minimizing the stocking density as well. I'm talking about just only 50 species per square meter after the disease breakout like white goat disease and WSS-BB, baculovirus. And the total turnover about you can see, and the net profit is almost about 18 to 19 lakhs in 110 days in 1 hectare of area. This is the, and we are talking about some advanced technological intervention in aquaculture, like it is advanced aquaculture technology and bioflux fishing. It is the technology from the Israel and Indonesia. Right now we have been implementing it since last 7 or 8 years. And advanced aquaculture technology, you can generate an income 1.28 lakhs in a 6 month, and in a 2 crop systems, you can generate 2.5 lakhs. And the time was only in tarpaulin tanks it has been practiced, but nowadays it is mandatory to do it in cement system, mandatory from the government policy side. And this is, you can see in the picture, this is the time was, it is only confined to the Pongal catfish, only confined to any Vietnam koi, only confined to some varieties of perch and tilapia. Nowadays, if you are practicing it in a very large area and the movement is very fast for the species, obviously their metabolism will be increased and their feed intake will be increased, their FCR will be increased, and IMC can be also practiced. Katla, rohu, mriga, reloni, the tilapia, Vietnam koi, katla, pangasius, shrimp also you can practice in the bioflux technology. And this is the RAS recircular aquaculture system where more than 95% water can be recycled. It is used under the recyclability systems. It is very sustainable regarding exploitation of the environment and water as well. Thinking about some G20 summits and the water use sustainably. And this is why this is very beneficial, because the total land area required is 100 meters. This is the means requirements, and the setup up to the 5.6 lakhs in 90,000 liters. And if you are going for the 15,000 liter per tank, the 6 tank systems, or in 90,000 liter you can maintain in 3 tanks also, 30,000, it will be better. And it is going 5.6 lakhs in setup cost, and operational cost is just 1.4 lakhs per crop. You can generate the income up to 4,86,000 per year. And this amiable and compatible species give tilapia, Atropos suratensis. This is state fish from the Kerala and the Pangasius. And if you are practicing, if the culture practice has been done in a very large container, in a large area, you can go for other species also with a very good compositions, with a composite fish culture. And this is the cage culture, sir. Cage culture, why this is a very revolutionary things has been found technically and commercially, because no land requirement over here, high stocking density can practice because no extra aeration is required, because every time the aerial oxygen can suffice this culture, because it is the open body, open environment practice within the only the cages. And this is suitable for small and marginal farmers, and it can be practiced in the public water body also, and government water body also, taking it in lease. Just for example, 6 by 4 by 4 means 6 meter length, 4 meter breadth, and 4 meter height. Production can reach up to 3 to 4 ton per cycle, and gross income may be up to 4 to 6 lakhs. Net profit in up to 1 to 2.5 up to 3 lakhs sometimes, and it's a very good cost benefit ratio. This is the, and why this is the fish hatchery. This is the hypopassion technology. The day was the farmers are wandering here and there, and they are collecting the fingerlings and the spawns and the juveniles from the shadow areas of the riverine banks, or they are practicing bond practice area. After the technological intervention from the Hiralal Chaudhary and Dr. Ali Kuni, this utilizing the synthetic hormone, artificial breeding to produce the seedlings for the grow out practice had been immersed like anything. And throughout the year, you can practice the artificial breeding after the technology intervention for the early breeding. So the input cost is the total input cost is almost about 3 lakhs, 2.7 lakhs, say about 3 lakhs, because sometimes the brooders demand and supply is a constraints. So as per your demand, if you are procuring the brooders, some 30,000, 40,000 variation will be there, and maximum up to the operational cost you can meet up to 3 lakhs. And after that, you can earn a profit up to approximately 9 lakhs, because turnover of course will be the 12,000. After selling your spawn, it is called in dhani, and it is called for the 2 lakhs, and fry you can sell for the 10 lakhs. And it is not mentioned here, if you are going for the integrated farming, and if you are going for the post-harvesting processing technology in the integrated farming, after integrating fisheries with livestock, fisheries with the plants, you can earn up to 2 to 3 lakhs in 7 to 8 months in a year. And sir, it is proved that in post-harvesting processing technology, that Dr. Anil sir has said, like canned product, beheaded product, decayed product, if you are investing in a year and you want to just 80 to 100 lakhs, 80 lakhs to 1 crore, minimum profit after production of your just beheaded and decayed for the export to the abroad countries, you can get up to 8 to 9 crores in minimum. It has been seen in some area 10 to 15 crores as well. So this is from the PMMSY and PMMSY Minister of Fisheries side. Why fisheries now there is, after the technical interventions and all the advanced technology practice, what is the most bankable, and in comparison to any agri and irregular sector, why this must be seen in a very positive intentions. The bankers must have the positive intention to grant and finance the fisheries sector for the development of this sector. Thank you very much, sir, from this side.
Thank you very much, Anandu.
Ashish, thank you for the presentation by our PMU team. I think we got some questions during this webinar. एक क्वेश्चन है कि जो यूनियन बजट 2026-27 में फिशरी सेक्टर के लिए क्या इनिशिएटिव्स है करके मैं इसमें बताना चाह रहा हूँ. देयर आर 3 मेजर इनिशिएटिव. एक इनिशिएटिव है जो हमारा जो रिजर्वायर्स है थ्रू आउट द कंट्री, रिजर्वायर्स एंड अमृत सरोवर्स, उसी एरियाज में जो कोल्ड चेन, प्रोसेसिंग प्लांट्स और अदर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट के लिए भी फोकस रखा है इसी बजट में. ये एक इम्पोर्टेंट अनाउंसमेंट है. तो फोकस विल बी देयर इन द अनटैप्ड रिजर्वायर्स एंड अमृत सरोवर्स. और एक इम्पोर्टेंट अनाउंसमेंट है जो टेरिटोरियल वाटर्स में, डीप सीज में तो अनटैप्ड हमारा जो फिशरीज का जो रिसोर्सेस है उसको भी टैप करके एक्सपोर्ट प्रमोट करने के लिए एक पॉइंट है. और थर्ड पॉइंट है जो वैल्यू एडेड प्रोडक्ट, फिशरी सेक्टर में जो वैल्यू एडेड प्रोडक्ट्स को हम लोग एक्सपोर्ट के लिए बनाने के लिए कुछ इंग्रेडिएंट्स चाहिए था. वो जो इंग्रेडिएंट्स है वो इंग्रेडिएंट्स का ऊपर इंपोर्ट ड्यूटी को कम किया है. These are the 3 major initiatives for the development of fishery sector. एक क्वेरी है. और दूसरा क्वेरी है, PMMSY is still active or we have to finance under PMKSSY? PMMSY जो इनिशियली है 5 साल के लिए था. It was completed by March 2025 initially, but further 1 साल extension मिला था till March 2026. आप scheme is still active. 2026 मार्च तक हमको extension मिला था फाइनेंस से, तो still it is active. आप PM प्रधानमंत्री मत्स्य संपदा योजना का अंदर भी आप लोन्स या कोई इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट के लिए आप कंसिडर कर सकते हैं. और PMKSSY प्रधानमंत्री मत्स्य किसान समृद्धि सहाय योजना के लिए भी आप दे सकता है। और फाइनेंस फॉर द सेकंड हैंड परचेज ऑफ मर्चेंडाइज वेसल्स। एक्चुअली PMMSY में हम लोग जो सपोर्ट कर रहा है, जो एक कमिटी है CAFT और उनका साथ एक कमिटी है, वो जो अप्रूव्ड जो वेंडर्स है, जो शिप बिल्डर्स है, वही लोग जो शिप्स को जो वेसल को जो मैन्युफैक्चर कर रहा है, उसी को हम लोग PMMSY में सपोर्ट कर रहा है। तो आप हमारा जो PMMSY में जो अप्रूवल्स जो है वो डेटा जो है उसी के हिसाब से ही आप वेसल को फाइनेंस के लिए सपोर्ट कर लीजिएगा। These are the 3 queries I received. Ashish, any other query beyond this?
No, no, sir. We have received only 3 questions.
Okay. So thank you for all the senior officers joined from the banks. So once again, I request to kindly process these credit applications. जो भी हमारा डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म में जो applications आ रहा है उसको जल्दी प्रोसेस करिएगा। और दूसरा जो अभी स्कीम के बारे में हम लोग जो भी बताया था अभी लास्ट 1.5 आवर, तो उसका जो भी बेनिफिट्स है, जहाँ पे भी आपका बैंक का इंटरेक्शंस विद लोकल फिशरीज कम्युनिटीज और कोई आपका कोई कैंप्स चल रहा है, उसी में इसी को भी एक एजेंडा पॉइंट रखिएगा। और आई रिक्वेस्ट और PMU टीम आशीष स्पेशली ये जो PPT से
Yes, sir.
आप शेयर करिएगा सभी पार्टिसिपेंट्स के साथ, और आप लोग का कॉन्टैक्ट नंबर भी शेयर कर लीजिएगा, so that if they have any further clarity हमारा स्कीम के बारे में और अदर एनी फर्दर डिटेल्स दे कैन रीच अस। इवन हमारा जो सहाय योजना स्कीम का ब्रोचर्स है जो लोकल लैंग्वेज में, वो भी शेयर कर लीजिएगा।
Sure,
With
sir.
this, I once again thank you for joining in such a short notice and attending this webinar with the benefits of the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Kisan Samruddhi Sahay Yojana. Thank you, Anand. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.